Welcome to the Best Things Podcast. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to follow us on all the socials at Best Things Pod as well. Now, here are your hosts, Craig and Aaron.
Hello, Internet. Welcome in to the Best Things Podcast. My name is Craig. Sitting next to me, Aaron Brooks. Happy October.
October.
The most second most wonderful time of the year. Would you agree with that statement?
Sure.
Yeah. It's not the most, right?
No, it's not the most.
No, you don't know. You don't think it's the second most? It's top 5 for sure. Right?
Yeah. Easily. October, November, December probably are my 3 favorite months of the year.
You flip-flop. You just count down backwards? Is this your third favorite time of the year?
Yeah.
Okay. You know,
the excitement grows from here until the end of the year.
In the sports world, like October is the best month for sports.
You have NFL.
Check.
College football.
Check.
NBA comes back.
Checkity check.
You have Major League Baseball playoffs and the World Series going on. College basketball kicks off at the end of the month.
Yep.
The hockey fans that are out there, NHL begins in October.
Yeah.
What else have I forgotten?
I mean, what else do you need? I mean, really?
If you're a sports fan and the other people that live in your house aren't, they're going to hate you in October.
That's true. It is just the best for sports. We're not talking about sports today. I'm sure sports may come up at different points, but today is another one of those episodes where we're going to be going through Chris's. We've taken a name.
We're going through Chris's what?
His draws.
Oh boy.
No, not those draws. His drawers.
Oh, okay. We're going to unpack the Chris's.
How did we get here?
I don't know. That's a different podcast. It has the little E rating on it.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to talk through. We've done this before with Mike's, and so we're going to go through Chris's.
You know, I just now thought of a Mike that we left off the list that really should have been added to the list.
A few months
and
left.
I would like to retroactively add Mike Birbiglia to the list.
That's a great Mike.
He's a Mike. Yeah.
Yes. I'm glad you said that.
Okay.
We're just going to add that to the podcast from
he's not going to win it or probably make the final 8, so it doesn't mess the timeline up.
He's like the first 4 out in the March Madness bracket.
Yeah.
Maybe the next 4 out. So yeah, we're gonna talk through Chris's in the world of you can already, I know immediately as soon as you read the title and heard us talk about the word Chris or the name Chris, you immediately have a couple in mind. We're gonna get to them. Don't worry.
And for those of you that are out there, I know what you're thinking. Everybody hates Chris.
Yeah. Nice reference.
Thank you.
Nice reference.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk through them. We're going to figure out exactly who the best Chris is. So without further ado, without any further banter, we're going to get into it right now.
Before we figure out which one's the best thing, we have to talk about all the things. It's time for the thing about the things.
Okay, so like we've done the last couple of episodes, we have a list of Chris's. I was about to say that rhymed, and then I realized it didn't rhyme. List of Chris. That kind of rhymes.
List of Chris.
Is that close enough to count as a rhyme?
No.
It's got the T at the end.
It's got the T.
Yeah, okay.
If we want to talk about lists of Christmas, that would be closer to rhyming.
List of Christ. John Christ, comedian. He will not make this list, but his name has Chris in it. Yeah.
Oh, it does.
It does. Okay. So we're gonna go through. We're back to an old friend on this episode. We have not used this website in a hot minute because we tweaked our format a little bit, so we didn't have to rely on them every episode because they don't sponsor us. And if they want to sponsor us, we'll be happy to go back to the old format, but they don't. But we are going today to look back at our trusty website, ranker.com, and hear what you, the fans online, have said are the most popular Chris's of all time. We're going to start our countdown or count up. It's a countdown. We're going to start at number 20 and work our way up to number 1. And then there may be some honorable mentions that aren't on this list that we may mention at the end. But number 20 on this, so if you want to follow along, go to ranker.com, search Chris, or the most popular Chris's, you can find it. Number 20 on this list, which I think this is low for him.
It's too low.
It's very low for him. Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Number 20 on this list. I love probably nearly every one of Christopher Nolan's films that I've seen, with maybe the exception of Dunkirk. I was not a fan of Dunkirk.
It was different.
It was very different for
It
me.
was innovative.
Yeah.
It was artsy.
Very artsy.
We've discussed in the past how Hollywood likes artsy things, so they really should have loved it.
You have the Dark Knight trilogy, which was incredible. Do you think the Dark Knight trilogy and Christopher Nolan's vision for what a superhero movie could be, do you think that tweaked superhero movies from then on? Because Batman Begins came out in 2005, so a couple years before Iron Man, the first Marvel movie, came out. Do you think he had a hand in changing the direction?
Definitely. Absolutely. After the Dark Knight trilogy, because superhero movies before that were kind of campy.
They were. Yeah. I.e. Fantastic Four before he...
Yes.
Fantastic Four, when did that one come out? That might have been after and just still stayed campy.
It was early 2000s.
Yeah.
It was around that. But your early Spider-Mans, your previous Supermans, your Batmans.
Exactly, the previous Batmans. Batman?
Yeah, the Batman. They took a different direction once Christopher Nolan got his hands involved in the superhero genre. I would say one of his earlier films that he produced that is still one of my top favorites would be The Prestige.
Love that movie. If you've never seen that, go watch it. Twist upon twist.
And it also has in it Christian Bale and, I just went blank, Alfred.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine shows up in a lot of Christopher Nolan movies.
A ton of them.
I mean, they really love working together. And Christian Bale, too. You can tell he's got a type when it comes to actors and talent he likes to work with.
But my most favorite Christopher Nolan film.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Interstellar?
No.
Oh,
no.
That might be mine.
It's Inception.
Inception, also very, very good.
Because Inception was so unique as a movie, and it kept you on the edge of your seat wondering where this thing goes. It had those twists and those turns. And so does The Prestige, but Inception is just such a mind-blowing film, and you get to the end of it. I've watched it countless times, and there's people who debate these things, and you can do the same thing with Interstellar. I would say those two movies, you can go back and you can argue what was going on, and you can get into some really deep discussions.
Oh, man. So deep. A lot of his have that, because you also have Tenet, which came out not too long ago.
A couple years ago.
Memento, one of his very first movies.
Oh, I forgot he did
was
Memento.
A lot about that. So you're talking several of his movies have that mind-bendy. This is going to sound. There are two different genres what they typically work in, but he is what you really wanted M. Night Shyamalan to keep becoming.
Yes,
because M. Night Shyamalan came out so strong with The Sixth Sense and The Village and those types of movies, and he just really took him
off
those.
a cliff.
Yeah. Servant on Apple TV is pretty good, but it never really goes anywhere. Christopher Nolan is very intentional with his films and has a very distinct style. And, you know, he definitely puts his stamp on every one that he does.
I'm really excited because it's in post-production now, but Oppenheimer It's coming out in
Yes.
July of 23.
That looks which Cillian Murphy, is that his name?
Yes.
He likes to work with him a lot too, because he was in the Dark Knight trilogy and Inception.
Yes. It's got Matt Damon in it. It's got Robert Downey Jr. in it. Gary Oldman.
I like
Emily Blunt.
Cast. Great cast.
So I'm excited to see that. And this one, I mean, they're diving into actual history here.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about the development of the atomic bomb. So I'm curious to see how you put the Christopher Nolan twist on actual events that transpired.
Yeah, are they going to stay true to history, or is this an based on history adaptation?
And they're going to take their liberties with it.
Right. Okay, we could spend a whole episode probably on Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, so we obviously just based on that, 5 minutes of discussion, we feel like he's too low there.
Yeah, absolutely too low. Somebody that probably is too high. Number 19 is?
Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
Okay. This is not popular now.
No.
But I think a lot of people hate on Christopher Columbus.
Yes.
I think we have to keep history in its context.
I agree.
We rip on him, he really didn't discover America, all this kind of stuff. What he accomplished is still pretty impressive for the time.
Yeah.
There were a lot of tragic things that happened
Absolutely.
to people all around the world. It wasn't just then.
Yeah.
So I think we got to keep that in context and still recognize you don't have to just trash him now. Keep it all into context. I mean, the Vikings were pretty ruthless people too.
Yeah,
and,
if you take probably anybody pre-1900 and pluck them out of their time frame and drop them into today's society, they're probably going to be a pretty bad person.
Yeah.
I mean, the world is just a different place back then.
I mean, the fact that he navigated without satellite navigation.
Oh, man.
From where he was to where he ended up. There's a lot of things that you can look at and learn from it. And that's what history is supposed to teach us. And we look at the bad parts and we can identify those things, but it doesn't mean that everything about him was a terrible person, and that we should just totally forget Christopher Columbus, No,
you've got to acknowledge the wins.
Yeah.
And you have to acknowledge the bad things and the losses too.
Yeah.
And just say, learn from it, move on. And be better moving forward. But there's no denying. I mean, the stamina, the mindset, even if it may have been an accident, like just to accomplish any of those things. I mean, he did a lot of things before America also.
Yeah.
He was obviously a great explorer. So lots of things that he has done deserve recognition, regardless of mistakes or honestly, I don't fully know that they're mistakes. I think it's just like you said, a sign of the times,
right?
Because any society that exists today was built on bloodshed.
Yeah,
it was built on tragedy. Any of them, no matter where you are. So you have to.
But a very famous Chris, though,
very famous. I mean, who does not know in 1492 Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue?
Yep.
I mean, we're always going to know that. Number 18 on this list, Chris Tucker. We're probably not going to spend a ton of time on Chris Tucker. He is a comedian. Everyone knows him from Rush Hour movies.
Yes.
Do you speak any English? Like, him and Jackie Chan together did a couple different movies. Hilarious. His demeanor is funny. You hear him talk, you immediately just want to laugh just because his voice.
Has he done anything recently? I feel like he's kind of slipped into oblivion lately, or maybe I just don't see him anywhere.
He probably got canceled and we don't know about it.
He may have.
Probably.
He may have.
But I think probably number one, he probably got typecast also for those type of movies.
That's a good point.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But those Rush Hour movies, 1, 2, there might have been, I think there was a 3. He was really good. He appeared in films Friday, The Fifth Element, Money Talks, Jackie Brown, and of course as James Carter in the Rush Hour series as well. Number 17. Do you know?
I love Christopher Plummer.
Really?
I was excited to get to this
Okay,
point
good.
to talk
because
about Christopher Plummer.
I'm looking at him and I don't recognize him.
Okay.
You're gonna have to educate me.
I'm disappointed that you don't know this.
I don't.
He's old.
Yeah, I can tell that.
Do you know any of his movies without having looked? Would you have known any of his movies?
No.
Okay.
He was born in 1929. Is he still alive?
He passed away recently in the last couple years.
I see
I
that.
think.
2021.
Okay, yeah. He is the man who played Captain Von Trapp in The Sound of Music.
Oh, that would explain it.
That's don't.
You know, I don't like musicals.
I hate musicals too, but The Sound of Music
It's
is
iconic. I've seen it one time, and I was probably on my phone most of the time.
Okay. Beyond that, he played in one of my all-time favorite movies as the father of Benjamin Gates in National Treasure.
Okay, yes.
He also
All right.
played in Knives Out.
Oh, you're right. He was the father, right?
Yes.
The older man who
Yes.
The
Yes.
inheritance. Okay.
He played Scrooge in The Man Who Invented Christmas a few years ago.
Okay. So this is probably a good spot for him. 17.
He's done a lot of incredible movies, had a long career. Started in 1953 was his first movie that he acted in until his passing.
I was about to say, I mean, Knives Out is not that old.
He's the voice in a movie that came out this year.
Oh, wow.
So even
posthumously.
yeah, exactly. He's still contributing. So I feel like he is
I mean, he was in his 90s.
yeah. He won an Oscar.
I was looking at it, like an Academy Award, a Genie Award, 2 Emmy Awards, 2 Tony Awards, a Golden Globe, a Screen Actors Guild Award. Did he got? He did, yeah. Tony, Golden Globe, Emmy, he got it.
He did.
Yeah. Wow.
He also apparently he's a Canadian. Says he delivered outstanding performances as Sherlock Holmes in Murder by Decree in 1979. So I mean he
was the oldest actor to win an acting award. Received a nomination at the age of 88 for All the Money in the World.
Wow.
That's impressive. He won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor at 82. Okay, yeah. That 17 might be low compared to those accolades.
I mean, that's what I think.
That's impressive.
I feel like he deserves
Okay.
a lot of credit.
I've been educated. Number 16 in our list is Chris Martin. I'm going to have to educate you on this one, probably.
Yeah, I don't know who this is.
He is the front man for the band Coldplay.
Okay.
I've been listening to Coldplay all day, ironically, not even connecting the dots between this. Coldplay, they are a bucket list band for me to see live in concert. I've always loved Coldplay ever since their first album. So if you're a fan of Coldplay, you probably want Chris higher on this list, but I think
It's not a household name, though, is it?
post 15 is where he belongs. He does not belong in the top 15 at all. If you're not a fan of the band, you probably don't think he deserves to be in the top 25. But he is. When Coldplay was really cranking them out, he was as recognizable as most film celebrities. Like
mid 2000s.
Yeah, mid 2000s for sure. Maybe the early 2010s. He was, very eccentric style. He would always, I remember when I would see music videos or watch them do live stuff, the band always kind of had like a vagabond look to them. He would often put tape on his fingers and just used a lot of color, and he was just very unique, very eccentric. He was married to Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, at one point. So, 16, Chris Martin. You want to take number 15?
Okay. It's Kris Jenner.
Yeah. Spelled with a K, but we're going to count it.
As known for being a reality show personality.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's really it. I think
I struggle with reality show people.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that they become famous.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about famous Chris's, so there's no denying that people know Kris Jenner.
Yeah. I mean,
I just take issue with
their whole family. Married to Bruce.
The fact that we make these people
I know.
celebrities is that's where I more take issue with.
To be fair, we don't make them celebrities.
No. But somebody is.
Somebody's making
out there
them
somewhere
celebrities,
is making these
and if
reality TV stars.
If you're listening, chances are strong. We can just keep going because chances are strong. Our audience is not watching the Kardashians and has zero interest in Kris Jenner. So there you go. Number 14, Christopher Milani.
Don't know his name.
So he was in Law & Order Special Victims Unit.
Have not seen.
He was when Law & Order SVU first came out, and it was him and Benson, which I don't remember her name. It's some hard to say name. That was the best. That series has gone on probably a little too long. They're on season like 23.
Whoa.
Yeah, for a non-cartoon. To be on its 23rd season is incredible. He came back to the Law & Order family with a different spinoff. Honestly, this is way too high.
I was going to say, I feel like this is too high.
14 is way too high for him. But here he is anyway, so worth mentioning. Number 13?
Chris O'Donnell.
Yes.
I also don't recognize his name.
He played Robin in Batman and Robin in the early 90s.
Okay.
He is on an NCIS. One
this
of those.
isn't the guy who plays Oliver in Arrow, is it?
I have not seen Arrow, so I do not know. But I don't think so. I think he's got a series.
Should I know Chris O'Donnell? Is he that popular?
I think this is way too high for him.
I mean, I've seen Batman and Robin, but...
Yeah, that's really that, and I think he was in Vertical Limit, it looks like, which was a great movie. It was a good movie.
Three Musketeers. It looks like he was known in the 90s.
Yeah, he was almost like your Paul Walker.
Okay.
Back in the day. So he was that kind of, even looking at him, he looks like a Paul Walker. So he was your kind of action-y hero, not your preppy action hero kind of guy.
He does NCIS Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And he's been in NCIS.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I should know him from that.
Maybe.
Grey's Anatomy.
I wouldn't know him from that. Again, our audience, you're probably not going to know him from...
For me, I wouldn't have even known his name, so he wouldn't make if I was making the ranker list, he wouldn't make my list because I don't know him.
When I was thinking about this and I was looking up different lists, like, I recognized him and I'm like, okay, that's something to banter about, but he does not probably need to crack the top. Although there's a couple here in this top 15 that I don't really know that well, so maybe he does deserve to be near the 15 mark.
Maybe.
Number 12. Do you know this, Chris?
Nope.
I don't either.
Don't know this one.
Mainly because this is Chris Colfer. Again, probably our audience is not going to be knowing him very well. He is from the show Glee. So if you're a fan of Glee and musicals, it looks like he's done several different musicals. So
he was named one of Time's list of the 100 most influential people.
Really?
In 2011.
Born in 1990, so he's what, 32?
He's my age. I don't know this guy.
I don't know him either. But I think as we get closer to the 10s, we're going to start knowing people. Who's number 11, Aaron?
Okay, this is one I do know.
This is one you know for
Christopher Reeve.
Yes.
Superman.
Yes.
Yes.
Best Superman, or do you think Henry Cavill takes it?
I'm going with Christopher Reeve.
Really?
Yeah. Definitely.
That's mostly what he's known for, right?
I was going to say,
Has he done anything else notable?
I've got to look here and see. I feel like I do remember him from something else, but maybe not.
On May 27th, 1995, Reeve was left quadriplegic after being thrown from a horse.
Yes.
during an equestrian competition in Virginia. He used a wheelchair, needed a portable ventilator to breathe for the rest of his life. He lobbied on behalf of people with spinal cord injuries and for human embryonic stem cell research, founding the Christopher Reeve Foundation and co-founding the Reeve Irvine Research Center. He died in 2004, which for some reason feels later than I thought. I thought he passed away in the 90s, but
yeah, looking through his list, Superman's what I know him from.
yeah. He was a great Superman. I mean, obviously growing up, he was our Superman.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't have any of these others. You didn't have, there's so many spinoffs now, like Lois and Clark and Smallville and so many of those different Supermans that exist in the different universes and stuff. But growing up, man, Christopher Reeve was 100% our Superman.
I do know this next guy.
You know the next guy? Of course you do. Number 10 is Christopher Lloyd.
I like Christopher Lloyd.
Have we talked through? I know we've talked about Back to the Future, but I can't remember your stance on Back to the Future. If you're pro or indifferent.
I'm pro Back to the Future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Had a conversation with my brother on vacation. He was like, Back to the Future is overrated. And I almost disowned him as my brother. Because Back to the Future is a top 15 movie for me. Just the first one. The sequels get a little bit worse each time. Actually, the third one is better than the second one.
I have it as a 7 out of 8.5. Not out of 8.5. I have it as a 7. Everybody else has it as an 8.5. So I guess I'm down a little bit from it. But it's been a long time since I've seen it. I need to go back to watch it. I don't remember. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it holds up for the most part. There's a few scenes in there that society has moved past, but he does a great job in it. It seemed like for a long time he was almost like a Morgan Freeman, where it didn't. He seemed like he was frozen in time for a bit. Not
what
time joke.
What? Let's see. He's in The Mandalorian coming up.
Is he really?
Yeah, that's what it says. I see that here.
Wow.
The first episode of season 3.
Okay.
He's going to be in. He is. But what am I trying to think of?
He was in Angels in the Outfield.
Okay, I remember that.
Looks like he was in the DuckTales movie.
Did he
probably voiced something? I'm assuming.
Did he do a Lost in Space movie? My Favorite Martian, possibly.
I'm not sure about that. Was he in
My Favorite Martian?
I don't know.
I can't find it.
He was in the show Taxi. Won 2 Emmy Awards for that one.
Yes.
He was the judge. He was Judge Doom in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, that's right. He was.
Yeah. So I still remember, man, when he encounters Roger Rabbit near the end, and the whole his Christopher Lloyd's, the real skin part of him is kind of melting and all that kind of stuff, and he turns into it. It turns out he's a toon the whole time. His eyes bugging out and stuff like that. That almost gave me nightmares as a kid, but that was a great movie too.
He was in 8 Men Out, which is one of my favorite sports movies.
I think we talked about that during the sports movies episode.
It's about the 1919 Black Sox scandal.
Yeah.
They threw the World Series.
He was Uncle Fester in The Addams Family in 1991 and 93.
I remember that.
So he's done a lot of different stuff.
And we have him listed, or Ranker has him listed where? Number 10?
Number 10.
With
I feel like that's probably about right.
You think that's right?
I think that I don't know that I would put him higher. But I don't know that I would knock him. I mean, based on who we've got so far, like we haven't cracked 10 yet. Or are there knowing who we have, are there many more people? Christopher Nolan would be ahead of him for sure. But are there many more people we've talked about that deserve a spot ahead of him?
As far as just being famous?
Right.
I think so.
Really?
I do. I think there are some that we have not mentioned that I think would be ahead.
You think they're not going to be on this top 10 list?
I think there's a good chance that they won't be. We'll see.
We'll see. Number 9, way too high for me personally. I think for you too.
Yep.
Chris Brown.
Is this the singer?
This is the
He beat somebody up.
He did.
A lady.
Yeah, Rihanna, I believe.
Rihanna. Yeah.
I am not.
I feel like that's the only reason I know him.
Exactly right. I'm not hip with the. I'm not even going to go there. He American singer and songwriter, born in '89. He was he was dead. He just got canceled. He was involved in his church choir.
Oh man,
and several talent shows from a young age.
Probably should have stayed in church choir a little bit longer. He probably needed to be around church a little more.
Peaked at number 2 on the U.S. Billboard chart, in the U.S. Billboard 200. Later certified double platinum. Let's see. We get down to where we all know him from. Yes, there he is. In 2009, he received significant media attention after pleading guilty to felony assault of his then-girlfriend singer Rihanna. Sentenced to 5 years probation. By the way, this is 2009. Can you imagine if he did that today?
He'd be under the jail.
I mean, you're right. Like, there's no way.
I didn't realize it had been that long.
I didn't either. 5 years probation, 6 months of community service. He sold 120 million records worldwide, making him one of the world's best-selling music artists. Ironically enough, there is a worship leader for Elevation Worship named Chris Brown.
That's right.
So every time I listen to a podcast or something that has him on it, the podcast usually goes, we're interviewing Chris Brown. Not that one.
Not that, yeah.
The good one.
Yeah.
Number 8.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Christopher Farley.
Yep. I'm afraid that people, how can I say this? I'm afraid that this is higher than what I expected him to be, because I'm afraid there are people that are younger than us that don't know Chris Farley.
You think he should be higher then?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I haven't seen the list ahead yet.
I mean, neither have I. I don't know what's above this.
I'm sneaking peeks, and I can at least tell you a couple spots. Chris Farley, man, gone way too soon. Way too soon.
His comedic style,
oh my gosh,
was unrivaled by really anybody else. Yeah. I mean, just
it was slapstick. It was almost like an old fashioned slapstick. His
little vaudeville, maybe.
Yeah, physical comedy.
That's what I was going to say. Lots of physical comedy.
Oh my gosh. Just, he will smash a table. He will run into something. He will pour something on him.
I mean, what would you say is his most iconic moment?
There's so many. There's so many. I should have pulled up some clips of him, but like Fat Man in a Little Coat, like, is just from Tommy Boy, iconic. He was Black Sheep. Of course, his time on SNL. I'm living in a van down by the river. I mean,
is that the iconic moment?
That's gotta be.
Is that the one?
Right? Like that is Chris Farley. Like that character defines Chris Farley better than probably anything else.
And his, as you mentioned, physical comedy, his size.
Yeah, exactly.
He used that in his physical comedy, and it made it that much more funny.
Yeah, the episode of SNL where he comes out as a Chippendale dancer, because he's surrounded by all these very buff and put together and attractive looking men, and then he pops out there. I mean, literally pops out there.
He starts off, he was in Wayne's World.
Yes.
Which I'd forgotten about.
I did too.
Coneheads.
Yes. Of course, Tommy Boy and Black Sheep and Beverly Hills Ninja.
Billy Madison. He has an uncredited role in Billy Madison.
Yes. He's got him and Sandler. Of course, that whole group. David Spade, Will Ferrell. I mean, they were so tight.
Yeah. Cut from the same cloth.
Yeah. He died of, in case you don't know, he died of a drug overdose at the age of 33 in 1997. I mean, him, like, he followed almost the same path as John Belushi. You know, they were both SNL stars, kind of physical comedy, and both just kind of. I've seen interviews with like David Spade and Chris Kattan and those guys who talk about Adam Sandler, they talk about him, just how good of a person he was.
Yeah.
Like he just cared about people, and his demons kind of got to him.
Yeah, it's a real shame that we lost him.
100%.
Yeah.
Number 7 on this list. Do you know this one? Do you know this, Christopher?
I feel like I do, and because the picture of him looks a little janky here, but
he's a sir. He was knighted.
I feel like I only know him as one thing.
Oh, I'm looking at his, yeah.
I know him from Star Wars. Am I correct?
Oh, wait. I was looking at Lord of the Rings. So Christopher Lee is who we're talking about. He's a British actor, Sir Christopher Frank Caradani Lee, English actor, singer, author, career spanning nearly 70 years. Lee was well known for portraying villains.
Okay, I was going to say, is this the guy who played Count Dooku?
Oh, man, I don't know. He played Count Dracula. Yes, Count Dooku in the Star Wars. Yeah, okay.
He was in The Man with the Golden Gun in 1974. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
I've seen that multiple times.
He was Saruman in the Lord of the
Trings. That's the Rings trilogy. You just shorten it down and call it Trings. Only the true fans know that.
Trings of Power on Amazon Prime, not a sponsor. Yeah, and he was on the Hobbit trilogy as well.
I am watching the first Lord of the Rings movie. I started it about a month ago.
Man, I haven't watched Lord of the Rings in a long time.
I've never seen it.
Oh, really?
I've only watched the first movie halfway through 3 or 4 times over the last decade.
How are you liking it so far?
Well, like I said, I'm a month into the first movie.
So probably not great. It's not going well for you.
I feel like it's growing on me a little bit more this time. I think I'm going to make it through the first movie in less than 6 months.
This is the Fellowship of the Ring, right? Is the one you're watching? That's the first one?
Yes. Fellowship of the Ring.
It's Fellowship, the Twin Tower, or not the Twin Towers, the Two Towers, and the third one.
Big fan, huh?
Yeah. I remember when they came out, I loved them. Like, I was all in. I went there opening night, and I was really into it. But it's one of those, there's certain movies that you love in the moment, and it's hard to go back and watch. And that's how Lord of the Rings was for me. Loved it in the moment, can't go back and watch it.
I saw on HBO Max that they have an extended play version of it. It's like 3 hours and 49 minutes.
Wow.
And so I did some Googling to see if maybe I should start with that. And it seemed like most people were saying, no, if you haven't watched the movies, do not watch the extended
This is not like the Snyder Cut then.
I guess not. So, they were saying it was like fan service. It's great if you're a fan of the movie, but if you're trying to get into it, it could be a little much.
Did you hop on it because you want to watch Rings of Power?
Yeah, I saw that and I thought, okay, maybe I should try to watch this if I'm going to watch Rings of Power. I have not watched Rings of Power yet, so I don't know anything about it. And at this rate, it may be years before I make it to Rings of Power.
I've heard just skip The Hobbit. Like all the
like
Hobbit
the whole trilogy?
The whole trilogy. I heard it's not great. So if you don't like Lord of the Rings, you're definitely not going to like The Hobbit, because The Hobbit is much slower paced, is what I've heard. It's more about the hobbits and less about action. I remember at one point, I mean, during Lord of the Rings, the action really starts ramping up, and these epic war scenes happen, and you get invested in the battles. The Hobbit, I don't think has any of that. I think it's just an unexpected journey based on The Hobbit.
He has been in 6 Tim Burton films.
Oh, wow. Tim Burton is, of course, we could do a Tim episode at some point, but
I'm not a Tim Burton.
I'm not either
fan.
No. Again, a lot of his movies are ones that I can watch once. The only Tim Burton movie I think I have ever really liked was Beetlejuice. And I think that's just because I watched it as a kid, younger, and I have nostalgia for it.
What does it say about you if you are known as being a character who plays villains? Do you think there's something dark inside of his?
I have heard things before that if you play villains often, that shows more acting chops, because if you're a really nice person and you're playing villains, then that means you're a better actor. I've heard rumors of that. I don't know him personally, obviously, so I don't know what kind of person he was. I've searched some actors that say they prefer playing villains.
Really?
Just because they get to get into it a little bit more and have some fun. But if you get typecast as a villain, it's hard to have a whole bunch of fans because people just hate you.
Yeah, I mean, what I was going to originally say is I know him as Count Dooku from Star Wars, and then the bit of Lord of the Rings that I have seen, like half of the first movie over the years, you do get introduced to his character there.
Right.
And so my kind of interaction with this guy is the fact that he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And I assume that he probably is in Man with the Golden Gun as well.
Probably.
I need to go back and watch that one and look for him. He'll obviously look much different, I'm assuming.
Number 6 on our list. Aaron, did you do us the honors?
Christopher Walken.
Yes. Christopher Walken. If you don't recognize the name, you would know the voice because everyone who does impressions does Christopher Walken.
It's a really easy voice to kind of learn, I feel like, if you're going to do an impression.
Do we want to both attempt it?
You go ahead.
You don't want to do it?
I'm not doing this for TikTok.
It's I can't do it either. It's not a thing. I can't. I try. That was more Bill Cosby than it was Christopher.
No. I'd give it a 6.8.
I need more cowbell. Like that's okay. So I read an article that said it wasn't an article. It was Will Ferrell was on, I think, Jimmy Fallon not too long ago and was asked about that SNL clip. And it said that Christopher Walken regrets doing it.
Really?
Like it stayed with him. Like he was this great actor. Like he did so many stage plays and he did so many serious movies. Then he hops on SNL, does this one bit where he asks for more cowbell. And from then on, like he said that he would do stage plays after this and people go, more cowbell. Like, it just stuck with him and he can't escape it.
But that means people liked it, right?
Exactly. But like he did the Deer Hunter, Dogs of War, A View to Kill. He was in all of these serious movies, and then gets basically typecast as shtick. And
since then,
exactly. Like
I'm looking at since then.
You look at his stuff, and like he does not do a lot of stuff. He's been in Pulp Fiction, Sleepy Hollow, Catch Me If You Can. He was the dad.
Yep.
Catch Me If You Can. He did a great job in that. Let's see, The Jungle Book,
Wives.
Yeah. So you get more cowbell, and that's just it. Like it's got to be frustrating as an actor also to have that kind of stuff happen. That's out of your control, and. You know, you either get typecast as something or a situation happens and that goes viral and that's all people care about.
Oh, yeah.
Number 5. Oh, boy. Number 5, Chris Rock.
He's a famous Chris.
Very famous Chris. Now, we're getting into heavy hitters now.
Yeah.
This is worthy of top 5 status. He's got to be up there. We, of course, all know what happened earlier this year with Will Smith. Do you real talk, do you think it was staged or no?
No, I don't think it was.
You know?
I think he was surprised by it.
Really?
Yeah.
There's part of me that thinks it was staged. Part of it.
I don't think
part of it was.
I don't think that it was because of some of the reaction from like the Academy and some of the different things. I don't think that if all this was planned, I think by now it would have come out that.
See, I do too, and that's the only thing hanging me up. But I also like everything from just after the slap before felt staged. But what happens after it, when he goes back to the seat and he yells, you know, get my wife's name out of your mouth, and Chris Rock's reaction, that feels like a tonal shift.
Yeah.
I feel like the joke beforehand and everything,
yes.
And then leading up to the slap, I feel like all that was, and that makes me feel that the slap is right there in the middle. It's like on the line. Was it fake? Was it not? So it's like a timeline, an equator, if you will. Everything before, staged. Everything after, not. That's the thing in question for me.
If it was, nobody has cared about award shows and talked about award shows in the last decade until this happened. So they really got people to talk about the award shows, if that was planned.
Chris Rock's career trajectory skyrocketed. Will Smith's did not.
Again, that's why I think, because you have to be able to read the tone of the room, and the room being the culture of 2022. Surely Will Smith knows, I can't do this and come out the good guy.
Yes, but I'm wondering long term how it will affect Will Smith. Like, it just got released. He's doing a new movie, Emancipation, on Apple TV, and it's gotten a lot of buzz early because Apple TV went ahead with it, and people are like, "Oh, this is his first thing since the slap. How will it be received?" You know, everybody's going to watch it. It's going to get talked about. So it's creating. But what's the old saying? Like, any news is
There's no such thing as bad press.
Right? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm skeptical. I lean toward it was all authentic, but there's part of me, the conspiracy theorist in me, is leaning toward maybe it wasn't. The Chris Rock, hilarious comedian. I always, we're both involved in church stuff, and we're good old Christian boys. So there's always that part of me that wishes Chris didn't have as much language and stuff in his comedy.
He's a very funny dude.
Oh, he's so funny.
Very funny dude. But yeah, some of it's a little bit.
It's just unnecessary.
Yeah.
But again, that's culture. That's a side of culture that I just don't get. But it was in Beverly Hills Cop 2, Saturday Night Live, of course, and he had a dramatic exit from SNL, if I remember right. So he was in Grown Ups.
Grown Ups.
Right? He kind of redefined himself for a little bit there.
Yeah.
He's kind of did some family stuff. I don't know if that's just reflective of his life as well.
Was he in a Will Ferrell movie where they go to prison? Was that him?
No, that was Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Okay.
Yeah, that was Kevin Hart.
He was in The Longest Yard.
He was great in that movie. That might be my favorite Chris Rock movie. Now that you're saying that,
I still feel like Grown Ups.
Yeah,
is ahead of that one.
Yeah, both are really good.
The Everybody Hates Chris TV series.
Oh yes,
of course.
You've already referenced that.
Death at a Funeral.
Did you watch that?
I did.
And what'd you think about it? That had Tracy Morgan in it too.
Mediocre.
Yeah, it was a weird vibe for me.
Gets a 5.7, which I feels like
about right for me.
I'd go 4.5 to 5. Huge name cast in it though.
Oh man, massive. There are some of those movies that have big cast that they spent too much money on the talent, not enough on the writing.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Like I said, we're in heavy hitter territory now, Aaron. Who's number 4?
Chris Pine.
Yes. Favorite Chris Pine film?
Ooh. Star Trek?
Yeah. He was really good in Star Trek. Which he's surrounding in controversy now as well.
Which I did not know about until you showed me that last week.
Yeah, so you probably know about this, but the Spitgate is it's dying down now as we're recording this. But yeah, he's starring in a film with Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde is directing it with, I cannot remember her name, but she was in Black Widow, Yolanda something. I can't remember off the top of my head. My Marvel friends are going to hate me for not remembering her name. But yeah, so apparently there's a lot of beef there. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's just drama, and apparently Harry Styles supposedly spit on him or didn't. It's kind of like the Chris Rock and Will Smith.
Yes.
Like, did they, didn't they? Is it real? Is it not? Is it publicity? Again, no press or bad press is not necessarily, or how can I not remember that saying?
There's no such thing as bad press.
Thank you. Thank you. My goodness. Okay.
I feel like you're wanting to get no news is good news.
Yeah.
Wrapped up in there somehow with this.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Okay, he was also, maybe my second favorite movie he did was a movie called This Means War.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
As far as rom-coms go,
it's maybe the best one.
It's fantastic.
Which we should probably do an episode on rom-coms.
We should.
That may be a good Valentine's Eve.
February.
Yeah.
Put it on the board.
Put it on the board. That I think is one of my wife's favorite movies. Him and Tom Hardy and Reese Witherspoon.
Yes.
It's a great movie because it's got action. It's got action and comedy for the guys.
It's funny. It's romance. Yeah.
He does a great job. I liked him a lot in Star Trek. I think he did a good job with that too.
Played Jack Ryan.
Yeah. So, surprisingly enough, for being as popular as he is, he doesn't have a very deep,
No.
as far as well-known movies go.
No.
My wife knows him best from The Princess Diaries 2, which a lot of
I've never seen.
90s kids, 90s girls probably know him from. He was like the person she was engaged to. But Chris Pine, probably a worthy number 4 spot. Number 3, Chris Pratt.
Oh, boy.
I love Chris Pratt.
Yes.
He seems like a good dude.
He
Like,
is.
If I had to pick one of these people on this list to go just hang out with, have dinner with, I think it'd be him.
There's a lot of people in Hollywood that are really kind of, sleazy
Right.
and scummy,
Yeah.
and you just don't want to have anything to do. Chris Pratt seems like he has a genuinely good heart.
Yeah. Good head on his shoulders.
Yes.
Doesn't get into trouble.
Very, very mature. He doesn't buy into a whole lot of the cancel culture. He just, he's a man of faith.
Right.
He's not scared to put out there,
Yeah.
What he believes, what he thinks.
And he's a great actor.
Yes.
He does good movies.
There have been groups that have come after him.
Right.
And he's kind of one of those guys that just kind of remain untouched because he's not been guilty of anything,
Right.
Other than just being upfront and honest,
Yeah.
kind of about some of his faith.
And he's been in great films too. You're
Yes.
talking. He was in Moneyball, Zero Dark 30, Her. The Lego Movie. Ever heard of it? Star-Lord. Ever heard of him? Like Guardians of the Galaxy is probably one of the biggest mini franchises within Marvel. Of course, all the Jurassic World.
The Jurassic World trilogy.
And recently, now, or it's about to come out, he's the voice of Mario
Yes, he
in the
is.
Super Marios, which we just watched the trailer right before we hit record, which looks like another banger. Looks like another great movie.
I think he signed some sort of deal with Amazon Prime because he
feels like it.
He did the Tomorrow War,
Yeah.
which was a movie that came out a year or two ago.
It's very good.
An Amazon original movie, and he is doing their new series called The Terminal List. I don't know if you've watched that yet
I
or not.
haven't watched it
It
yet.
is really good.
I've heard it's very good.
And it's right in his kind of vein that he is doing now, a lot of military type movies and roles that he's played in. As I think he was in 13 Hours. If I remember, was that the name of the movie?
Yes.
With his name's not Jim Halpert, but John Krasinski. There we go. You talk about typecasting somebody, that's all. It doesn't matter what John Krasinski ever plays in. I only see Jim Halpert.
And what's funny is that he got typecast as Mr. Fantastic without ever appearing in
He did.
Fantastic Four.
And then I think the big one that we left out on Chris Pratt is not movies,
Yes.
but it is his role as Andy Dwyer on Parks and Recreation.
One of the best characters on that series.
He is
Hands down.
so funny.
He's just, and to me, that feels like it leans into his personality.
It
I don't know that he's that kind of dim-witted, but like
Right. Andy is really dumb.
That kind
but
of funny though.
He's very funny. He's obviously musical, likes to play the guitar, all that kind of stuff. So you
Right.
get to see some of Chris's real personality come out through Andy. Probably more so than any of his other roles,
Right.
I would guess. I don't know how he would speak to that, but just watching everything he's done, I feel like that's a better look into who Chris Pratt is than anything else.
He's really good. I think, honestly, just putting out 3 might be too low for him.
I still have not seen number 2 and number 1, so
Yeah.
I
can imagine, but I think that might be too low for him, for me personally.
Yeah.
Number 2, though, is Surprise.
Chris Hemsworth. Okay.
Yeah. These top three are definitely worthy of top three. I think all three of them, there's a case to be made. This is probably my wife's favorite Chris.
I would say there are a lot of people that are in the female category that are big fans of Chris Hemsworth.
It's not just the physical specimen that he is, but he also has to be Australian.
He's got the voice.
You gotta have the best voice out of all of them.
He's got the hair.
He's just, it's not fair.
No.
As a male, it's not fair that he gets all of that. Hemsworth, known mostly, honestly, for just being Thor. He was in Snow White and the Huntsman. I do remember him in Red Dawn.
See, I don't remember him in that.
I didn't know he was in Star Trek.
Yeah, I
don't remember him in that.
I missed that as well.
These must be small. I do remember him in The Heart of the Sea. That was a good movie.
Never saw it.
Rush was good.
I don't remember him in Ghostbusters.
He was in,
I don't know if I've watched that Ghostbusters. To be honest.
I have not, and I refuse to watch it. It is everything I saw about it was so bad. The trailers looked so bad that I refused to watch it. They were gonna. It was a disservice. Again, without even watching it, I know it's a disservice to the franchise. The new one though is good.
I haven't seen it either.
It's really good though.
Yeah, he's really known for the Marvel universe, though.
He was on the spinoff, though, of Men in Black. They did.
Wait, I didn't know there was a spinoff.
They did Men in Black Internet. I don't know if it was a spinoff as much as it was a sequel, and it flopped. It was not very good.
I don't think I've seen it.
But Rush was pretty good. Cabin in the Woods. I don't remember that. I don't know if I saw that or not.
His best Thor is
Ragnarok.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, hands down.
I enjoy him most as Fat Thor, though.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's really good in the ensemble cast.
But I take issue. I really gotta say, I think he hurt things with Love and Thunder.
Really?
I thought it was. I have it ranked as the worst Marvel movie.
Really?
That exists.
I
really didn't like it.
I don't blame him for that, though. I
think it's probably not his
he was.
fault.
I thought he was good in it,
but I think I don't know. It tarnishes
the
him.
whole Mighty Thor Natalie Portman. You could have taken Natalie Portman out of that film completely, and I think it would have been good. Unfortunately, I think they could have done really good things with her storyline, but her storyline serves zero purpose to the film.
He's going to be playing Hulk Hogan. Is that what I'm seeing here?
What?
Do you see this?
I don't see it. I'm not.
There is an
IMDb.
untitled Hulk Hogan movie coming out, and it says Hulk Hogan underneath of it.
Wow.
Announced.
Okay.
So,
I mean, with his body, I can see that. I want to hear his accent. Number 1 on our list, Chris Evans. He's very good. Also, he's done.
I've heard of him.
He has done several different things. He was in a Marvel movie, believe it or not, before he was Captain America. People forget this.
Yes,
and I was really, really, really hoping in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness
that he would show up.
That he would show up as Johnny Storm. I was really, really hoping they would do that.
That is what I remember him first from.
Yeah,
Flame on,
flame on.
Okay, and you hated on this movie earlier. I liked the original Fantastic Four.
Oh, I did too. I wasn't hating on that. I'm just saying it was kind of campy compared to movies now.
Yeah, it is. But as far as the campy superhero movies go, I still like Fantastic Four.
I did too. Yeah, I loved that that movie. And Silver Surfer was pretty good too. Yeah. Not as good as the first one, but it was good. You've got him in Knives Out.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. This is a little controversial, but he has stepped into the role of Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
He replaced, and I think this was a mistake by Disney.
His voice was good for it.
It wasn't, what he did wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I thought it fit pretty well,
yeah.
But still, I think this was a misstep by Disney to not give us Tim
Okay, so spoiler alert for the movie Lightyear if you haven't seen it yet. But I guess it was about in the third act of the movie, it's revealed that General Zog or Zorg or whatever,
Zorg,
is actually Buzz Lightyear from the past or something. It's a time travel-y kind of movie. That was the misstep.
Yeah.
They should have made him Tim Allen to tie it all together. That would have been incredible. It was old man Buzz Lightyear should have been Tim Allen. Travesty that they didn't do that. The movie itself, I don't remember what I gave it. I think I gave it like a 6 or
it was a mediocre movie again.
It was fun. There was some funny the cat was the funniest part in the whole movie.
It was overhyped.
Yeah, very much overhyped.
And it underwhelmed me. I had really high expectations for it, and they underdelivered, I'm afraid. Another non-Marvel movie that I think we both really liked was Free Guy. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
What was he in that?
He played himself in it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I forgot. Yeah.
Had that?
It was it was a very small cameo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, but see, again, outside of Marvel movies and these recent movies, which he's in The Gray Man, right?
Yes.
We have not seen that yet. I have not seen that yet.
Neither have I.
We started it, but we started it too late in the evening and did not get to
What's it on?
Make it far. Netflix.
Okay.
Which was with Jake Gyllenhaal. It's Jake Gyllenhaal or Ryan Gosling. I can't remember which one it's with. Those two are interchangeable to me. I'm sorry. But outside of those, I'm
going back to look, and I don't know.
He's not done a lot of stuff. So credit Marvel for making some of these guys just superstar household names out of practically nothing.
And it is hard to picture anybody else as Captain America after his role as Steve Rogers.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
He's that good. And the ladies like this Chris, too.
The ladies do like this Chris, yes. He has America's buttocks.
Yes.
All right. That's the list. So now we got to... I don't think we're going to have a lot to talk through when it comes to the worst, but let's do it anyway.
Welcome to the best things.
No. These aren't the best things. These are the worst things.
Okay, really, honestly, there's a couple of... there was a couple other Chris's I was going to mention. We can mention them here in a minute. Yep. I don't think they're going to make our list, but the biggest thing for me in the worst category, Kris Jenner, that she's even on the list, this list.
And that high.
Yeah, and that Christopher Nolan is not higher. And the whole Chris Rock slap, Chris Brown assault. Like, get it together, Chris's. What are you doing?
Everybody hates Chris.
I don't really have any much else in the worst category.
How about Chris Webber?
That's a good point.
And I like Chris Webber.
Yeah.
But he was part of a college basketball team, the Fab Five, University of Michigan,
Yep.
Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the one who called the timeout?
I don't know if it was him or not. I think so. But my sports history in the NBA or the in that era outside of Arkansas,
Chris Webber is the one who called the timeout.
Yeah,
with 20 seconds to play, blew their opportunity
and there's
in the national championship between them and North Carolina back in 1993.
The rest of the Fab Five kind of disowned him for a little bit.
Yeah, that was a worst moment for a Chris.
Yeah.
Chris Christie, the former governor of New Jersey.
Yeah.
He ran for president on the Republican ticket back in 2012. He may have ran in 2016 as well. I don't know. I just kind of don't like the guy. He was always just kind of a loudmouth.
That's a great descriptor for him.
Did not like Chris Christie. I feel like this is a worst moment that Chris Columbus is ranked number 38. You say, wait a second. You said he was number 19. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's another Christopher Columbus that is very well known from one of my favorite movies.
Yep. A couple of them.
That's a holiday movie.
Yeah.
Home Alone.
Yeah. He's
directed some really big name films.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a filmmaker. Home Alone 1 and 2, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes.
And then he directed a couple of Harry Potters too, and he wrote Gremlins and The Goonies.
Yes. Bicentennial Man.
Yes.
Percy Jackson. Home Alone won a British Comedy Award for Best Comedy Film. He received an Academy Award nomination for producing the movie The Help. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah, I do remember that.
He's done a lot of stuff. To me, Chris Columbus, when you think of movies, his name is one that comes to mind, and it's an easily recognizable name. I think people should know Chris Columbus, and I think that the fact that he's 38 is kind of a disappointment to me.
You're right. Absolutely
so I put that in the worst category.
Yeah, 100%. These aren't worse, but there's a couple other Chris's that we left out. Honorable mentions, if we will. You got athletes. Chris Berman from Monday Night Football fame, or not Monday Night Football, or NFL Countdown.
NFL Countdown.
Yeah, on ESPN. He was fantastic. I don't know if he's still doing TV or not. I know he retired at one point, and I think he came back to do some other stuff. You got other athletes: Chris Bosh, Chris Paul, Chris Sale, Red Sox. Chris Bosh, how's he doing? You know, you follow NBA a bit more than I do. I know he retired for health reasons, right?
Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of slipped off there.
Another SNL alum, Chris Kattan. He was right there with Chris Farley, too, in that era. Night at the Roxbury. Another one I don't think you're going to know, Chris Hardwick.
That name sounds
He's
familiar.
a podcaster. He's done like Talking Dead. He's huge into comic book culture. So shout out to Chris Hardwick as well. And the last Chris I'll mention, Chris Tomlin.
I was gonna say Chris Tomlin needs to make our list, especially our list.
Yeah.
Chris Young, country singer, wouldn't make your list.
Don't even
but
know
I
who
think
it
he's
is.
I think he's pretty famous. I'll send you some of his Christmas songs. He's got some good Christmas albums. Chris Matthews is another loudmouth.
Hardball.
You got it.
Hey, I got a politics thing right.
I really have never liked Chris Matthews. One I don't think you mentioned is Chris Paul.
I threw his name in there when I was talking about some sports people,
Yeah.
but yeah, CP3, you got to mention him.
I feel like he should be higher.
I agree.
To me, he's a top 20 name.
If nothing else for the State Farm commercials.
Yeah, people know him from State Farm.
Yeah. Okay, you got anything else?
Not in that category.
Okay. Well, let's hear some stuff that you have talked to us about on the socials.
We love hearing you talk about us. It's time for the best things about the best things. Want to hear your feedback on the show? Email us at feedback@bestthingspod.com, tweet at us at bestthingspod, or leave us a review.
We are having so much fun on social media. If you're not following us yet, first off, why not go follow us on all the socials at Best Things Pod? And by the way, we're still doing the whole giveaway for leaving us an Apple podcast review. You see us with our handy dandy mugs here if you're watching on the video. If you're not watching on video, you can just picture a white mug with the Best Things logo on it, and that's what you'll be getting. So leave us a review and let us know you've left that review. We're going to read your review on the air, and then we're going to send you this dope mug for that. Okay, I want to read some comments that
As do I.
I don't know which ones you're going to read. Mine come from TikTok when you...
So do mine.
Do they? You got to talk about In-N-Out.
Okay. We're on different videos.
We're on different videos. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to read a few and get your reactions to them because you went on just a freaking love fest for In-N-Out. I thought, it's average, it's whatever.
The haters are going to come out.
And you got people on both sides here.
Okay. As long as it's mixed.
Yeah. Gladivon on TikTok says the last thing he spoke about in that clip was about taste. That's all you need to know. I'm not buying stock in eating a burger. It's overrated. He really zigged and zagged on that one. Like I thought he was going to go.
He had that Christopher Nolan twist at the end.
He acted like it was all taste, and then he zagged the other way. Wild American Appears says Culver's is the best.
Get out of here. It's not even a conversation.
Let's see. Okay, I really want your take on this one. I've got 2 other takes. This one specifically. You know what? I'm gonna save that one for the second one because I have a feeling you're gonna say something about it. This one's on your side. The_electrician says, having worked at In-N-Out, I wholeheartedly agree. Plus, store managers make between $150,000 and $300,000 a year.
All right. Today is my last day on this podcast.
I ate it twice a day. And then we asked, what's your go-to order? He said, triple double, extra grilled onions, bun, extra toasted, fries, light, well, with pep up. I don't know what that is. That a secret menu thing?
Okay. He's throwing out terms that I don't know.
And he is a regular, man. He said they catered his wedding.
Way to go, man. Way to go. That's GOAT status.
Finally, Hunter.Kaiser says, In-N-Out is honestly overrated. Wendy's is better. I'll go as far as to say I'd rather go to Arby's.
This dude has no taste. Come on. You don't have to say that it's like the best food in the entire world, but when we're talking about fast food hamburgers, I promise you, I stand by what I said. If you put those hamburgers out there and you blind taste test them, the quality of ingredients is going to shine through in the In-N-Out burger. You're not going to confuse In-N-Out with Wendy's or any of these other, or even McDonald's. I mean, I'm not, because I kind of like McDonald's, but it's not even close. In-N-Out takes pride in their product. They're not just slapping stuff together and throwing it out there like you're a bunch of feed hogs. They're treating you with dignity and respect.
Feed hogs. Okay, you had comments. I got you all worked up now.
Yes. You asked the other day, because I said something about the Christmas season.
Okay. Yeah.
And you asked, is it too early for Christmas?
Yeah.
We've gotten some responses
Oh, boy.
on TikTok. Zoe Lynn 18 says, who says you have to stop celebrating?
Yeah, I saw that. Society. Zoe, society says you have to stop celebrating.
No, they don't, Zoe.
Yes, they do.
They don't say that. You do you.
No, if you see somebody with Christmas lights up in April, you judge them. Come on, you judge them.
There's a country song that mentions the fact, it's called Redneck Woman. I keep my Christmas lights on my front porch all year long.
And you're judged for it.
No. Red Michael says, for real. Madison Glenn says from September 1st to October 30th, then Halloween, then it's Christmas until Thanksgiving, then it's Christmas again until January 1st.
So just small breaks of other holidays.
It's Nicholas says July. Sue 19630, me when it turned October. Howie loves you says October for sure.
Man.
Aiden Bowen says Christmas is now.
I didn't know there were so many people that were wrong.
Everybody was on my side. This is the first time that like 100% of these comments. Here's another. Halloween. We don't really need it. It's just a reminder to start celebrating for Christmas.
Disagree.
Nobody.
Firmly disagree.
Nobody out there says, you know what? Craig's right. We shouldn't celebrate Christmas right now. No, this is the beginning of the Christmas season. And
goodness.
all of you wonderful people out there know it. We're on the same wavelength. Let's celebrate together. The best things.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
If you want to be the best, you have to beat the rest. It's time for the best thing bracket.
Okay, last week, Aaron unceremoniously kicked college football rankings to the curb.
Me?
Yes. And Chocolate Chip Cookie is now our new reigning champion. I don't have it updated on our little whiteboard there, but
No, you don't.
that's true. I had to remember. I looked at it and said, that's not right. So, yeah, Chocolate Chip Cookie is in the driver's seat. Will it get dethroned by a Chris today? We'll see. I believe you had first pick with the chocolate chip last week. So that gives me first pick this week. And I'm going Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt.
Well, that's who I would have taken.
Yeah, I figured that's why I was going to go ahead and take it. Who's your number one? Now that it's not Chris Pratt.
Chris Evans.
Okay, you're going to go Evans. Okay. I don't think this is too big of a controversy for us, but I think, according to this ranking, it is. I'm going Nolan with my second pick. I think his movies are just. I have to. Nolan, my second. Your second.
I'll take Hemsworth.
Okay. You got Hemsworth. I'm going to take Pine. I'm going to take Christopher Pine with my third. Your third.
Christ is not in
Doesn't
this.
count, no.
Okay?
No.
Just making sure that we're
it doesn't.
both on the same wavelength here.
It does not count.
Because I was going to look at you if you picked him fourth. Be like, that's disrespectful. No.
Oh, my gosh. All right, you need a third, though.
Okay, Jenner. Just kidding.
Almost talked. I was leaning in.
Christopher Plummer.
Wow, okay.
I'm a big Christopher Plummer
You
fan.
are a big plumber. Well, this is tough for me because I am stuck between a rock and a hard place. Oh, man, you got Rock, Walken,
Farley.
I've got to go Farley. Yeah, I got to go Farley. Man, it was between Rock, Farley, or Lloyd. All I think are worthy of in this bracket, but I got to go Farley. All right, your fourth one.
Oh.
We're leaving one of them out.
I'm going with Chris Columbus, the movie director.
Okay. Wow. Dark Horse, Cinderella. He was probably in the last four in. Okay, so we've got Chris Pratt versus Christopher Columbus. Do we need to go to 1 to 100, or we want to go just...
Nope.
Chris Pratt?
It's Chris Pratt.
Okay. Evans versus Farley. You want a 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
And then we'll, if we need to...
Yep.
That may be the way we do it now. That way we don't have to just keep debating. All right, Evans versus Farley. 3, 2, 1.
Evans.
Farley. Okay, I was afraid that was going to happen. I don't know, man. If I gotta pick between Captain America and Tommy Boy, I might pick Tommy Boy.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Chris Evans in 3, 2, 1.
Evans. Wait, what are we doing?
We got to break the tie.
Oh! I just thought we were voting. I thought you changed your mind and we were both going to say Chris Evans this time.
All right, just give him a number. I already gave him a number.
Yeah, 9.
Okay, so that gives him 17.
17.
Farley in 3, 2, 1.
8.
9. They're tied. Okay. 1 to 100. Here we go. Evans, 3, 2, 1.
86.
80. Okay, so that's
166.
Yep. Okay. Farley, 3, 2, 1.
82.
85.
That's
67.
167.
Wow. Farley. Right? Farley with the upset.
Yeah.
1 point upset. Wow. Okay. Nolan versus Plummer. Let's just,
it's Nolan.
It's Nolan, yeah. Okay. Hemsworth versus Pine. Let's 3, 2, 1. Just say who we think it is. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Hemsworth.
Yeah, I agree. Oh man, Pratt versus Nolan. I want us both to vote on this one.
Okay.
So let's say who we think it is. 3, 2, 1. Pratt. Okay. I think it would be close though if we were to do numbers. If we were to go 1 to 100, I think it'd be very close. Farley versus Hemsworth. Let's just say it. 3, 2, 1. Hemsworth. Okay. And then Pratt versus Hemsworth. 3, 2, 1. Pratt. All right. Chris Pratt, congratulations.
please come on our podcast, Chris.
Yes. Oh man, if you're listening and have connections, man, let's make it happen. We just need to DM him and see if he'd do it.
I think we would have so much to talk about with Chris. I think we would have a lot in common to talk about with Chris. I think he would be just a ton of fun to hang out with.
I 100% agree. All right, but he's got a battle. Let's see.
It may be the best thing today, but is it the best thing of all time? It's time for the best thing battle.
Okay, we got Chris Pratt versus chocolate chip cookies. Again, this podcast is weird, but I love it. Okay. Do you think it's close? You said last week on this podcast you thought chocolate chip cookies could make the run and go 5 straight.
Yeah, I did say that.
You still stand by it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I still stand by that. Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm confident.
Okay. We're in agreement then? Chocolate chip moves on?
It's chocolate chip.
Okay. As much as I love Chris Pratt, again, I think if we went 1 to 100, it would be closer. But I don't think as close as Pratt versus Nolan.
Exactly. That one would be, I think, with Evans and Farley, single-digit numbers. Chocolate chip cookies are going to be up in the 90s for me.
Yeah.
Pratt's probably in the 80s.
Okay, I was about to, compared to that, probably upper 70s.
Yeah. 75 to 80, I feels like, Chris Pratt comes in there.
Yeah. Okay. You feel good about it? Pratt being the best Chris and chocolate chip edging him out?
Yeah, I feel like you did a disservice to us by taking Christopher Nolan second.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like he should have been on the opposite side of the bracket.
Really?
Because I think, for me, if just looking at the bracket, I would have taken Nolan all the way to match up with Pratt.
Oh, really?
There.
Yeah. Well, you should have taken him first then. What are you picking Evans for then?
If we're talking about the most famous...
Yeah. We're talking about the best, man.
Well... That's true. I was looking at the name of this list, though, the most famous Chris in the world. I think Evans definitely edges Nolan out.
So you're saying Nolan is like that team in basketball who's better than the side of the bracket. They just got put on a bad side of the bracket.
Yeah, I think Christopher Nolan did not deserve to get knocked out in the second round.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, I would agree. Yeah.
If he's on the other side, I think he's in the finals for us.
I agree, and I may have some buyer's remorse when I next time I watch Inception or Interstellar.
I mean,
I would love to see Chris Pratt in a Christopher Nolan film.
That would be awesome.
That would be very interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they would go well together. That might be two ends of a magnet trying to go up against each other because Pratt has a little bit more comedy in him.
Yes, but then you watch things like The Terminal List, and it's not very funny. I mean, it's true. It's hard.
That'd be interesting to see. I would love to see them team up at some point. Okay, you got anything else?
No, not today.
All righty. Whoa, I hit it right away.
There we go. We're gone. Got places to go and people to see, cookies to eat.
All right, don't forget the reviews and all that stuff for the best things. I'm Craig.
I'm Aaron.
We'll talk at you next time. Hey,
Podcast.
shut up.
We're talking.
Subscribe, comment, and review wherever you're listening now. Don't forget, connect with us on the socials at Best Things Pod, and you can hear your take on an upcoming episode.